Since childhood, Sahil has been closely connected to Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's movement, continuing the legacy of social reform and activism. His professional and personal life are deeply influenced by his commitment to these ideals. Please join me in welcoming Sahil and um, please, Sahil, please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, thank you. Thank you so much, Akshay. Akshay, for the introduction, for the wonderful introduction. Uh, a very good morning to people joining in from the United States, and a very good evening to people joining in or joined in from in India. It's been almost. Firstly, I would like to thank Mr. Vasnik, and also would like to thank a special thanks to Mr. Padwekar for coordinating and scheduling this small talk with the Ambedkarite Association of North America. During my recent visit to New York City, I had the opportunity to meet a couple Ambedkarites based out of New York City and New Jersey area. It was definitely a great experience meeting Ambedkarites from all over the world. Lately, I've been looking at meeting people like Ambedkarites in the United States, and I think definitely this is a great opportunity to start meeting and developing a connection and building relationships with Ambedkarites in the United States. Uh, it's been almost 3 years now that I've been here in the United States. I visited the statue that was the recent statue that was inaugurated in Virginia, and it was really a great initiative by all the Ambedkarites in the United States of America. This morning, I would be talking about Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar and Buddhism in it in a full length and probably in full depth. Without wasting time, let's get rolling. So, first of all, a very Jai Bhim to everyone. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar is undoubtedly an extraordinary personality, having proved numerous achievements within a lifespan of just 65 years. He was a scholar, a thinker, an economist, a writer, a journalist, an eminent lawyer, an orator, a parliamentarian, a social reformer, a champion of the downtrodden, a democrat, and a bodhisattva. He carved himself in a way that he cannot be forgotten in years to come. Dr. Ambedkar's contribution to the betterment of human existence and society is one of a kind. He perpetually put forth the idea of an egalitarian society. Ramji Sakpar, father of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, had 14 children, out of which Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was the 14th child. It is said that the birth of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar follows a similar interpretation of the dream dreamt by Mahamaya, the mother of Gautam Buddha. It is astonishing and a significant event. One of Ramji Sakpar's uncle had turned into a hermit, and after a very long time, he, along with other hermits, happened to pass by Mahu, where the family initially lived. This old hermit was recognized by one of the family members as she was on her way to get her daily chores done. The hermit was requested to bless the family with a quick visit. The old hermit declined the request. However, he conferred to Ramji Sakpar that soon the family would be blessed with a boy who would leave an incredible mark in the history. Soon after, on 14 April 1891, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was born. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's father plays a pivotal role in shaping him through his budding years. Ramji Sakpar, with his tremendous experience as a principal of military high school and his spiritual habits, helped Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar to imbibe the same habits. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar developed the passion for reading books early on. His passion for reading developed so strong that his father would end up borrowing money from his other married daughters and every so often pawning jewelry to provide him with books. Along with Marathi, he got a grip on English language. As time passed, he inclined towards gaining knowledge about Sanskrit. However, during his high school days, he was forbidden to learn Sanskrit as it was only confined to people belonging to higher levels in the caste system and ended up taking Persian language. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar passed his matriculation examination in 1907 from Elphinstone High School. Since back then it was a peculiar achievement for an untouchable, the entire community decided to organize an event to celebrate this achievement. This event was organized under the leadership of S.K. Bole and Krishnaji Arjun Keruskar. Mr. Keruskar presented Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar a copy of his new book, The Life of Gautam Buddha. After this very event, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was introduced to Gautam Buddha. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar took this opportunity to inculcate and better understand Gautam Buddha, and his teachings. He was impressed, inspired, and touched by it. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's father insisted upon reading Mahabharata and Ramayana. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, with a very inquisitive mind and with great courage, he questioned his father as why he insisted upon him reading the Mahabharata and Ramayana, which pushed forward the greatnesses of Brahmins and Kshatriyas and derogations of the Shudras and Adi Shudras. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar dedicated his life for the upliftments of downtrodden. It all backtracks to his early budding years when he experienced untouchability as a social isolation from within the society. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar faced untouchability and discrimination at every step of his life. The causes of his sufferings were linked to untouchability. Untouchability functioned as a barrier that prevented individuals from making progress. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar realized the only way to escape from this was through education. Initially, education was only confined to the Brahmins. He took education very seriously. He put his nose to grindstone and the shoulders to the wheel. Even though he was not born as a Brahmin, he uplifted himself to the level of a Brahmin. His education fostered him to pave his way out of the shackles of untouchability. He did not stop right there. The community he hailed from has been facing untouchability for around 1,000 years, and that thought was constantly running in the back of his mind. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar decided to study the Hindu religion and get at the roots of it. Dr. Ambedkar put in relentless efforts to reform the Hindu society. His role in reforming the Hindu society and Hindu law is incomparable. He postulated the drawbacks and presented the ideas necessary to reform it. He hailed from a caste within the same religion, which was condemned as untouchables and were denied basic rights. Untouchability and its practices were at peak. Untouchability curtailed down basic needs such as attending school, drawing waters from public wells, wearing clothes of superior quality, and using copper utensils. Other form of atrocities executed by the so-called upper caste Hindus were burning down houses if a land owned by an untouchable cultivated produce, getting beaten up for wearing the sacred thread on their body, getting beaten up for sitting on a horse during marriage, getting beaten up for refusing to carry the dead animal or for not bowing down before the caste Hindus. Untouchability has been and still is a curse for the Hindu society. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar abolished all forms of untouchability through Article 17 of the Indian Constitution. However, untouchability is still practiced in a few parts of India. Hindu society was categorized into four varnas. According to the Chatur Varna, the social order was like a four-storied building with the Brahmins on the top floor, followed by the Kshatriyas, then the Vaishyas, and the Shudras and the Ati Shudras at the lowest floor of the building. Thus, the unique feature of this building was it had no stairs and there was no chance of moving up in this form of social order. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, during his study about traditional Hindu Vedas, scripts, social systems, and judicial systems, found out it was not only the Shudras and the Ati Shudras, but also women suffering in the Brahmanical order prevalent in the Hindu society. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's role in advocating for women's rights is often overlooked. He aggressively pressed for women empowerment and equal rights in education and property. He says, I measure the progress of a community by the degree of progress which women have achieved. As a law minister, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, through his relentless and unwavering efforts, drafted the Hindu Code Bill. He introduced the bill on February 5th, 1951, in the parliament. Unfortunately, the then Prime Minister of India, Mr. Nehru, and the majority of Congress parliamentarians did not pass the bill. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was very much heartbroken and resigned from the Nehru cabinet. Few colleagues from the cabinet alleged that introduction of the bill was just an election stunt. Some said that it would cause a downfall to the Hindu culture. Some termed it as a conversion law, while on the other hand, women members of the parliament appreciated and demonstrated faith in it. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's disappointment was at peak. He felt the bill was killed, buried, unwept, and unsung after a few parts were passed. In addition, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar worked on multiple issues prevailing in the society, focusing on eradication of caste discrimination, human rights, women's rights, social and political issues. Through his extensive research and study, he published numerous papers and books, which include The Castes in India, Annihilation of Caste, Philosophy of Hinduism, Riddles in Hinduism, Who Were the Shudras, and so on and so forth. In his various books, he talks about how the Hindu society has changed from time to time from its very usual kind It's backpedaling from himsa to ahimsa, the misleading of the other castes within the Hindu religion by the upper caste. He had reached the conclusion that until and unless the Hindu minds were freed from baseless ideas such as superstition and disbeliefs and the concepts proposed by the upper caste Hindus, India would have no future. He aggressively put forth the idea that India will not progress unless a casteless and classless society is created. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's fight was for self respect, dignity, and humanity, a struggle to be treated as humans with equal respect, with equal status, with equal justice and morals. He decided on giving up the Hindu religion because it would not appeal to his principles and morals. After almost 2 decades of research and study of all religions, he made up his mind to embrace Buddhism. Buddhism was the exact Buddhism had the exact features he was looking for in a religion. Buddhism is based on science. There's no place for God and soul, and there's no stratification based on birth. The main purpose of religion is to define the relation between a man and a society. Society is an important aspect for an individual. Individual development and progress should be the aim of any religion. Man is not for religion, religion is for man. Religion is necessary for the downtrodden and, in a way, is a ray of hope for survival. Religion provides the strength, a space to progress, and helps to trust the process. There is no place for an individual in Hindu religion. It does not teach how an individual should behave with another individual. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, at a public meeting at Yeola in Nashik on 13th October 1935, made a very bold declaration. He said, even though I was born as a Hindu, I will not die as one. The subject of conversion was very dear to Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. It was not at all an easy task to assure common people the topic of conversion. There were various aspects of conversion, such as social, religious, material, and spiritual. All aspects circle around and would boil down to untouchability. For instance, if an educated person with right skills still being unemployed, a shop owner getting no business because he's untouchable, exclusion from jobs, no political rights, and so on and so forth were all intertwined with untouchability. The purpose of conversion was to achieve social, political, and economic freedom and to be treated as humans, to get right to education, and to have a life full of self respect and dignity. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar prefers Buddhism because it gives three basic principles which are quite hard to find in any other religion. All other religions circle around God, soul, and life after death, while on the other hand, Buddhism teaches prajna, that is understanding, karuna, that is love, and samta, that is equality. No God or no soul can do any good to the society. Buddha's Dhammas recognizes mind as the center of everything. Mind is the driving force preceding all other things. Mind is the cornerstone of all faculties. Mind is where the good and evil arise within and be falls from. Man is what his mind makes him. A basic example is the wheel of a bullock cart. It follows the steps of the bullock who pulls the carts, or a flock of sheep following the shepherd. We need to strengthen our minds. If it is the mind that can control us, it is also that can bring us to liberty. I recall Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's quote, cultivation of mind should be the aim of human existence. The world is full of sorrows and sufferings. Sufferings and unhappiness are irrefutable. But the focus is on finding the root causes of suffering and unhappiness and how to remove them. In his Dhamma, the focus is man and his relationship with other men in his life on earth. The purpose of Dhamma is to remove suffering from the world. According to Dhamma, if every individual followed the path of purity, the path of righteousness, the path of virtues, it would bring end to all sufferings. Path of purity is nothing but it teaches us an individual must have certain values as values of his life, not to harm, not to steal, not to speak the untruth. Every individual must in a certain way evaluate and judge whatever he does. Path of righteousness is the path of right views, right aims, right speech, right actions, right livelihood, right mindfulness, and right perseverance. Also referring to the Ashtang Marga and the middle way. The 10 parimitras means the observance of virtues as shield, such as shield, that is moral temperament, not to do evil, not to be ashamed of doing the wrongs. Nekam is renunciation of pleasures, Dan is giving one's possession without expecting anything in return, is Vairya, right endeavor. Kanti, which is forbiddance. Such is truth. Adithan is resolution to reach the goals. Maitri talks about friendship to all living human beings. Upeka is distinguished from indifferences, and Karuna, which talks about kindness to other human beings. Unlike other religions that proclaim God or God's messengers as a center of that religion, Buddha never claims to be one. He says, I am the son of Suddhodhan and Mahamaya. He does not claim to be the Mokshadatta or the giver of salvation. However, he claims to be the Margadatta, the wayfinder. He believes one's own effort leads them to salvation. To achieve the Buddhist way of life, we need to be kind, thoughtful, mindful, earnest, bold in decisions we make, be wise, surround ourselves with good people, do not hurt others, know ill will, learn to forgive, be patient, aim for high standards of culture, goodwill, unselfishness, follow the right path. Try to be the best man, strive for the betterment of own welfare and for that of others. Man with these habits is the chief, the topmost, the highest, and the supreme. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, through his vast work, put forth three books for better understanding of Buddhism: the Buddha and his Dhamma, Dhamma and Karl Marx, Revolution and Counter-Revolution in ancient India. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was confident that Buddhism would rapidly spread in India. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar declared that he would devote his rest of his life to revive and spread Buddhism across India. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar on 4th May 1955 formed the Buddhist Society of India to revive and spread Buddhism throughout India. The Constitution of India is holding the entire country together on the social philosophies of liberty, equality, and fraternity, which Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar derived from his master, the Buddha. His contribution in pressing for having the Ashok Chakra on India's national flag and inscriptions of Gautam Buddha at the Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi were a stepping stone for the revival of Buddhism in India. He set up education institutes such as Siddharth College and Milind College in Mumbai and Aurangabad, respectively, to encourage the study of Buddhism. In real sense, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar revolutionized the Indian society by embracing Buddhism. Through Buddhism, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar initiated the process of changing the mindsets of his followers, helped them to view things in a new way, helped them to have a standard of living and a better future. People have been proactively giving up their religion and embracing Buddhism. This is a slow, peaceful revolution and a continuous process, and we will see it flourish soon throughout India. To sum it up, I would say Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, in mere lifespan of 65 years, eradicated the year-long injustice and oppressions. His continuous efforts to amalgamate the heterogeneous masses to lead India to unity can never go unnoticed. His contribution in making the Constitution of India is remarkable. When I read his writings and speeches, I can surely say it wouldn't have been less than a roller coaster ride. Surmounting through difficulties at various stages of his personal, such as personal, social, and medical health, he did not lose his ground. It is very important to recall Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's message to us, where he mentioned the efforts and struggle he's put in to get the karma where we see it today. If we fail to take it forward, we better not mess with it and leave it where it is. And however, in no circumstance we should not allow the karma to go back. I would like to thank all members of the Ambedkar Association of North America for their efforts in taking forward Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's mission. Also, everyone out here taking time out of their busy schedules and contributing as much as possible in carrying forward the Ambedkarite movement and propagation of Buddhism. We should never forget our roots, and each one of you is a perfect example of it. Thank you so much for having me out here.
Thank you so much, Sahil. Thank you so much for sharing your valuable insights and continuing the legacy of social reform and activism. Uh, I know a lot of people will have many questions, so I'll go. If anyone has any question, please raise your hand, type your question in the chat, or unmute yourself and ask. Aruna, ma'am, you can go ahead.
Nama Buddhaya Joy Bhim Sahil.
Namo Buddhaya Jai.
Congratulations. And you have given such a concise and very sound and perfect speech. So is it possible to have the copy of this?
Oh,
Because
thank
it's
you so
a,
much.
yeah,
Definitely.
because in a very
Yeah,
short and brief, we can explain this. When the Americans they ask me about Babasaheb, so if I give this, they can have the whole content is there. You know, the whole you can say the essence of his life and his work.
definitely. Sure. I can forward this out to probably my friend, Mr. Padwekar. And, but that, like, he was the one who coordinated everything. And then, you can have it from him.
Yeah, and do you write books?
Not really. I don't write. I
The
don't really write.
vocabulary and the content you use is it's really beautiful, so if you want to explain about him, it's nice and it's very good for a new generation, like especially who kids who born abroad. You should write something for at least 50 to 100 page something so they can understand, because new kids they have really, like my kids, they have many questions about him. So I was just thinking we can have a separate session for them so we can make them understand and how to pay back the community.
Definitely, I think that would be a really good idea. That was always on the back of my mind. That is what I mentioned at the very beginning of my talk. That I'm trying to meet with Ambedkarites in the United States. I got it lately when I was in New York City. I got a chance to meet a few Ambedkarites based out of New York City and New Jersey area, and that was just like a start to it. And and this opportunity is definitely another chance. To build network and connections out here in America. And as you mentioned, having a separate sessions, I'm definitely up for it. Just let me know, and then we can definitely get in touch and set up different sessions for it also.
Yeah, and one more thing, just take an as appreciation and a blessing that you are different. So I
Oh,
really have hope from you.
thank you
Yes,
so much.
you
Really
are.
means a lot,
Yes.
Miss Aruna. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. We'll be in touch then shortly. Okay.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah, we also have a huge group in Arizona. If you ever come to Arizona, then we have a lot of Ambedkarites over here, so feel free to contact us. Uh,
Definitely.
yes, sir. Tushar, please go ahead and unmute yourself. I see you have raised your hand.
Yeah, hi, Sahil. How are you?
Hi,
It
Tushar.
was such a great talk from you, and thank you so much for taking out time from your busy schedule. I know you have been having night shifts these days, but thank you so much for coming. Um, I have a question for you, and it can be a little controversial, but I don't want to uh, come up with it in a very different way. Please take it in a very positive way. I respect every religion, but when I see uh, people who claim to be Buddhist, um, but practice so many things which are deeply dwelled with or like connected with the Hindu religion. I don't disagree with them, or it's everyone's their personal choice. But how do you feel for someone for to be someone who is a great grandson of such a great man? Who emancipated all of us, maybe everyone and their families, maybe before few decades, and then uh, coming out from something and then still going into it. Do you feel it is a disrespect for him? This is mine and my mother's concern too. When we see people practice more Hinduism rather than Buddhism, so what are your thoughts on this?
So let me just see it. Take the question right. So you mean to say they're Buddhist and they still follow the Hindu beliefs?
Yes.
Okay. So, like, even when Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was getting into the phase of conversion, he was at this point in time that he didn't really care about who was going to convert with him. So it doesn't really matter, like it depends on the every individual, because that is what Buddhism is about. That is what this religion, the Buddha's Dhamma talks about. It's about you. You gotta read books. You gotta understand what you have to do. It doesn't have to be like like even though you are the main reason to convert from Hinduism to Buddhism was to get out of these superstitions and the disbeliefs that were going on. So reading books could be one thing. uh, I think we really feel bad about it, but it's an individual decision what other has to do. So that's what I think.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sahil. Thank you.
That was a great answer, Sahil. If anyone, uh, I don't see anyone raising any hand. I don't see any questions.
Uh, Asha, I can go next if that is okay.
Yes, sir, you can.
Okay. Yeah, Sahil, thank you very much for joining again. This is Mahesh Vasnik, and I was coordinating with Trushar. And thank you, Trushar, also bringing Sahil because we are looking forward to Sahil since long time. We know that you are here in the Illinois, in the Chicago area. During that time onwards, we are chasing you, but after finishing your school, we thought let's bring you on call. And it is always pleasure to see someone from the Ambedkar family. This is the third generation that is coming on the online Vihara call. We have been invited members from the Ambedkar's family in the past. And thank you for joining. The quick question, Sahil, as you are from that family, how pressure you feel on your shoulders, Sahil? Like, because, a lot of people expect a lot of things from the family members. What is your thought?
Yeah, definitely. It's a good question. Yeah, everything comes with a lot of responsibility. My every action really makes a lot of difference, even though I'm not in India, even though I'm out of India. But even where I am, I have to be very cautious about my actions because I know I have a name right after my first name. I have a last name which has a lot of respect, a lot of which has a lot of importance, not just in India but throughout the world. And wherever I go, the actions I take have to really. I need to be aware of my actions because that is what defines and portrays what kind of a person I am. So it is definitely a very big responsibility. Also, it is everything has its pros and the cons. Like if I'm dealing with back in India, if I'm dealing with issues, definitely it really helps me on because I can, like, a person without this name going and pitching up, fighting against the injustice that's happening in the society, and versus me with a name going forward and putting my points against the injustice. It really makes a lot of difference. So it comes with pros and it also has a cons that my actions really matter a lot in whatever I do. So after that is like in whatever I do every day, not just when I'm in India, even in the United States, my actions really matter. So like whatever decisions I take really make a lot of difference, and I have to be very conscious when I'm taking decisions in whatever I do. So yeah, as I said, it has its own responsibilities, has its own cons. And I really feel grateful to be born in this family. I'm every day I try to be a better person. I try to make sure that I can live up to that mark. I can keep the name high or every time.
Perfect answer, Sahil. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
And we'll support you, Sahil, because as Asha mentioned, we are having a lot of Ambedkar all across the United States, Canada. So wherever you wants to go and travel, let us know. We will happy to host you.
Definitely.
Anywhere you want.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vasnik. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Mangesh, please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Maheshji. Hey, hi, Sahil. So I just a curious question. Last summer, when this summer only we met Rajnath Ambedkar ji. So just wanted to know how you are related to Rajnath Ambedkar ji.
To be honest, a lot of people ask me this question. There is no direct relation with Rajratna Ambedkar with the Ambedkar family. Babasaheb Ambedkar's so basically their family tree is very different from ours. Like Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's brother, his son Mukund Rao, then his son Ashok Rao, and then his son is Rajaratna Ambedkar. So it is technically it's not Ambedkar, it is going to be Sakpar. So it's going to be Ashok Sakpar and then Rajaratna Sakpar, and then before Ashok Sakpar it was Mukund Rao Sakpar. So that is how it goes. So like Baba Saheb's brother was Anandraj Sakpar. Then it's going to be, then he had a son, his name was Mukundrav Sakpar. Then his son was Ashok Rao Sakpar, and then his son now is Rajaratna Sakpar. So, I would say he's just using a name. And like, to be honest, it doesn't really matter to us, but he's just portraying to be Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's great grandson, which technically and even in blood relation, has no relation to it, you know. So
Okay.
he's nowhere connected to the family, you know. I just wanted to make that clear. Like that is what he portrays himself to be, which he is not. And it's just a fallacy, you know, like just putting false facts in front of people and misleading people out here. And I would just wanted to, like, we have no animosity or nothing towards him, but it's just a clarification that people from our society or our community need to know about.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Sahil. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you.
There's one question in the chat box from Aditi. She says, I would like to know about your opinions about Babasaheb Ambedkar's ideologies being applicable in India. We live in now.
Where
Aditi,
the
if you
yeah,
can,
can you please,
if you can unmute yourself and then go ahead and ask question, then that will be great.
Yeah, Aditi, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, sorry, I was in the kitchen. Okay. Yeah, so the background that I'm coming from, I have not seen a lot of people believing in those ideologies because maybe I'm surrounded by mostly people from the upper caste or something like that. But then I believe that a lot of people are against this. Not really against it, but they believe that, oh, the caste system is not really that much persistent in the India that we live in right now. I and also the stories that we listen about B.R. Ambedkar, most of them are set in the times that are not now, right? So how do you think they are still applicable in the India that we live in right now, where the popular opinion is that, oh, caste system was a thing of the past, it's not existing in the modern India? I just wanted to know about your opinion on that.
So is it related to like reservation and stuff, or like, I don't know?
Yeah, education, economic development, both.
Oh, sorry, could you please repeat your question? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm saying both in terms of education system or let's say economic development.
I'm sorry, I just can't get your question. Can you please repeat it one more time? I'm so sorry.
Is my sound not audible? Okay,
No,
am I
you're
not?
audible, but then I can't get your question. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah.
Can you
So
repeat it?
I wanted to know, like, in the modern India that we live in right now, let's say where you're in an education system, let's say in Purdue, let's say you're in your education system, right? So maybe you were mostly surrounded by people who were not from our background or they didn't understand caste system as well. So when you talk to people in US, they don't really have a background about caste system. I know about it because I have read about it. But when it comes to the India that we live in right now, where popular opinion is that caste is a thing of is a thing of past, and now in the way that we live right now, it's not affecting people as much. I wanted to know what is your opinion about the ideologies that we have been growing up with. How are they still applicable, and how are you able to make people understand these things?
I would like to say caste system is still a stigma in the community back in India. Here, I would like to recall about the recent judgment or the recent addition of caste as a discrimination in California, because like Babasaheb Ambedkar in one of his speech definitely mentioned that wherever Indians go, they take their mindset with them. They have the casteism mindset with them wherever they go, and that was one of the reasons we had caste as a what was it called? A caste as a uh, reserve. What was it called? Caste as a
Protected.
protected entity, or maybe whatever you call it as, in California. So caste is one thing that's still in everywhere. Like even though back in India you see caste discriminations in the rural parts of India, even now we've read about so many different incidents which talk about people are beaten up using they're tied up upside down and beaten up because they were from a certain caste, or maybe you would say, like I've also heard people just having Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's ringtone as their on their cell phones were also beaten up. So these things are still prevailing in India. So caste system is not going to go. So that is what. So it's still going to be there, and it's going to take some time. So people would like, I would say people need to start reading, they need to start better understanding, and they need to look at the bigger picture. They need to have a very broad perspective at looking at things to get out of the caste system, and they need to start looking at people as humans. I hope this answers your question.
I think yes.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
There's one question from Marotra. Sir, if you can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask the question, that would be great. How can runs in the Dr. Ambedkar movement in India in this scenario?
Oh, I don't.
Marotra, sir, if you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, sir. Jai Hind.
जय भीम।
जय हिंद सर। मेरा सवाल इतना ही है, आप हिंदी में समझेंगे ना?
हाँ हाँ, बोलिए बोलिए, कोई बात नहीं।
हाँ, मेरा सवाल इतना ही है कि आज के सिनेरियो में जो वर्तमान में भारत में जो सिचुएशन है, इस सिचुएशन में various groups of Ambedkarites in this situation, how can run our movement, Ambedkarite movement in India?
डेफिनेटली इट्स अ बहुत अच्छा सवाल आपने पूछा। बराबर है, आप जो कह रहे हैं कि फिलहाल अंबेडकर मूवमेंट जो है इज वेरी फ्रैगमेंटेड, मतलब वो ऐसे अलग अलग टुकड़ों में बटी हुई है। हमें कुछ भी कर हमें अगर हमारे राइट्स के लिए हमारे ट्रू रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स अगर पार्लियामेंट में भेजने होंगे, तो हमें पहले तो सबसे पहली बात है कि हमें यूनाइट होना पड़ेगा, यूनानिमसली एक साथ आके मतलब वी नीड टू, मतलब सबको एक दूसरे के ऊपर पहले तो अभी ये जो अलग अलग गुट बने हैं या जो अलग अलग ग्रुप्स है, इट इज वो एक उसका कारण एक ही है कि उन्हें उन्हें लीडर बनना है, मतलब उन्हें बताना है कि आई एम द वन हु इज लीडिंग एवरीवन। और वो एक बहुत गलत चीज है। वी नीड टू यूनाइट। जब तक अपन यूनाइट नहीं होते हैं तब हम अपना ट्रू रिप्रेजेंटेशन या फिर हमारा जो हमारे ऊपर जो अनजस्टिस हो रहा है उसके ऊपर अपन लड़ नहीं सकते। सो आई थिंक अभी ये जो यंगर जनरेशन आ रही है, मेरे को लगता है मे बी द पास्ट जनरेशन में उतना मेच्योरिटी नहीं रहेगी, बट आई होप कि जो जो कमिंग जनरेशन है उन्होंने उतनी मेच्योरिटी रख के वो ये जो फ्रैगमेंट ग्रुप्स है इनको एक साथ ला के एक बाबा साहब अम्बेडकर की स्ट्रॉन्ग मूवमेंट यहाँ इंडिया में खड़ी कर सकते हैं।
तो इसके लिए क्या सोशल रिवॉल्यूशन की आवश्यकता है, सोशल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की आवश्यकता पड़ती है, लगता है आपको?
सोशल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की तो नहीं, बट हमें लगता है कि जो भी मतलब सबके साथ पहले तो बात करके उनको सबको सेम पेज पे लाके, मतलब उनसे पहले बात करके, क्योंकि हमारे सबके गोल्स एक ही है, जिनके जिनके भी गोल्स सेम है कि जिनको बाबा साहब अम्बेडकर के ट्रू रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स वहां पे लोकसभा में या फिर विधानसभा में चाहिए, जो हमारे समाज की आवाज वहां पे उठा सकते हैं। क्योंकि बाबा साहब अम्बेडकर कहते हैं कि जब तक तुम्हारे में से एक आदमी जो तुम्हारे ऊपर हो रहे अन्याय और अत्याचार से जा रहा है, जब तक वो वहां पे जाता नहीं है, वो आपके सवाल अच्छे से खड़े नहीं कर सकता। एक अपर कास्ट आदमी जो आपके समाज का नहीं है, जिसको आपके ऊपर जो अन्याय अत्याचार हो रहा है उसको उसका इम्पोर्टेंस ही पता नहीं, या फिर उसको तुम्हारे ऊपर होने रहे अन्याय का हिसाब पता नहीं है, वो तुम्हारा रिप्रेजेंटेशन नहीं करता। तो ये मेरे को ऐसे लगता है कि हमें पहले तो जो भी सिमिलर माइंडसेट के लोग हैं जो भी सिमिलर माइंडसेट के लोग हैं जिनको एक यहाँ पे सोशल रेवोल्यूशन का जारी करना है और बाबा साहब का ट्रू रिप्रेजेंटेशन अगर इसमें लोकसभा और विधानसभा में लेके जाना है, तो उन्होंने डेफिनेटली एक साथ आना चाहिए। उसके बिना
सर
अम्बेडकर
सर सर जस्ट मिनट, परंतु जहाँ तक पॉलिटिशियन या पॉलिटिकल का सवाल है या पार्लियामेंट्री का सवाल है, उसके लिए तो केवल एक कैबिनेट के भरोसे तो आप चुन के नहीं जाओगे ना।
नहीं, बराबर है। तो उसके लिए हमें मतलब अभी सब जगह पे अलग अलग रहेंगे। हमें महाराष्ट्र में अगर देखेंगे तो हमें जितना हो सकता है हमें उतना हम एक साथ मिलके, मतलब ये जो अभी फ्रैगमेंटेड ग्रुप्स है वो सबको एक साथ मिला के, और हम अंबेडकर मूवमेंट कैसे आगे ले सकते हैं, मतलब एक कॉमन एक लीडरशिप। मतलब ऐसे अभी सबको लगता है कि मैं खुद लीडर बनना चाहता हूँ, बट वो जो उनका जो माइंडसेट है वो चेंज करके बाबा साहब अम्बेडकर को सामने रख के, उनके मूवमेंट को सामने रख के हमें आगे लेके जाना चाहिए।
चलो ठीक है सर, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद,
यस,
बहुत बढ़िया।
थैंक यू।
आपका स्पीच भी बहुत बढ़िया रहा। थैंक्स
थैंक
वेरी
यू सो
मच।
मच सर, थैंक यू।
जय हिंद।
Thank you. We have one question from uh, Sarla. She raised her hand. So, Sarla ma'am, if you can go ahead and ask question.
Yes, Ashay. Yeah, thank you. Jai Bhim, Sahil, it was really
जय
great
भीम,
from
थैंक
you.
यू।
And you are really inspiration personal because you are studying there. We can at least give example. बघा, दादा शिकतोय, तुला पण शिकायचं आहे because I am from UK and my son is only 12 and we usually sit together and watch our people growing. So it was really nice talk. I just would like to ask, as Aruna ma'am said, if you can take any session or something like that which can help children to understand Babasaheb and Buddhism together. So if you can plan something like that, if you are planning and doing something that, please make it public that it will reach to us also.
Definitely, I think what you just mentioned, and also what Miss Aruna had mentioned, we could. I'm definitely up for it. I would really like to meet people, or maybe youngsters, or probably the youth that is developing right now, and talking about Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, because there's a lot you can learn from Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. It's not about just the social movement that he does. Even on his personal level, his ethics, his morals really make a lot of difference. And we've been keeping, I always think that we've been just restrained Babasaheb Ambedkar as a Dalit icon, or maybe just like, representing the Dalit community. But we need to uh, broaden our horizons and, take him out to the people and let them know that Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar has not only done for the people from his caste, or maybe the Dalits or the Buddhists, but then also right from women to everyone out there, has benefited from what Babasaheb Ambedkar has done. So definitely, I would love to, have these separate sessions, talking about Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar to the young youth out there.
Thank you so much, Sahil. Do you have? Are you on Instagram or Twitter? Something if you can share
Yeah.
that we can follow.
Yep. Yeah. Soon I will. I will definitely share it with you guys.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Aruna ma'am, I see you have raised your hand.
Yeah, so Sahil, is it okay if I bring American students also in the group, like we all Indian, and then.
Oh, definitely. I
Because
would love
we all
to.
discuss together. I'm basically in the college, so that's why I'm just wondering we can share our thoughts and how he's important. Because what American students they think that Dr. Ambedkar is important for the world.
Definitely.
So yeah, because we just spread out our wings.
Yep. For sure. That would be really fun. I would really love to meet Americans. Most of my friends at Purdue have also been not just like not Indians though, but then they've been from different countries. So it's definitely fun meeting people from different countries. It's really we really get to learn a lot from these new people, their backgrounds, their cultures. So I'm definitely up for it. So
Yeah,
just let me know.
Yeah, sure. Because we have to run this like the caravan, so we have to be together. And Miss Sarla, I will contact you if possible. So when we are hosting this event, okay? So you can bring more
Sure.
kids from different countries.
Wow,
Thank
that would be amazing. Thank you so much.
you. Yes, thank you.
So Shahil, now it is a great responsibility also now, right?
Yeah.
To educate our children and also Americans. So I think definitely when Arunaj is conducting that session, we'll be part of that and we'll be in touch. And that is the need that we are looking for. The third or fourth generation now it is coming forward. in the movement is not active that much that we are seeing in our own eyes, right? So, and that's what we need to bring them on the movement. Otherwise, our movement will die. And we don't
Yes.
want this movement get die very soon.
No, there is no end to Ambedkarite movement. It's going to keep rising, and just the only thing is we gotta be united. And if we're united, there's nothing can stop us, because Ambedkarism and Ambedkarite movement is a very strong movement. Nobody can beat it. So there's nothing that can stop Ambedkarites and Ambedkarism and Ambedkarite movement.
So what we can do moving forward, we'll host the one separate session only for the kids and teenagers, and also American, and we'll allow this platform also to host that session separately from the online Vihara. Yeah, we'll conduct that. And we'll
Sure,
coordinate.
definitely.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep. Once again, thank you so much for having me out here. It was really nice talking, interacting with you guys. I think this is just the first step, or the initial step to meeting Ambedkarites in the United States. And I look forward to meeting you guys in person also. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sahil.
Yep. Thank you.
I just wanted to share 2 years ago in Arizona State University, we started a new club, Ambedkar and Periyar Association. It's a study circle where we read books and host programs. So there's Dhamma Chakra Parivartan. Then we have hosted an event in Arizona State University. If you would be down to give us a speech or anything that would help our students, that would be amazing for us.
Are you talking about this year?
Yeah, this year, like after 2 weeks, next month. Sorry, in October 13th. Yeah, on 13th October.
Okay. I can definitely let you know.
Okay, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just a request. If you are willing to do it, then that would be great.
Yeah, definitely. Let me just check on what my schedule looks like, and then I can get in touch with you and let you know.
Okay, thank you. Anyone have any question? We can just see.
I guess there's some. No, that's fine. Yep. No,
Okay.
it was just a message from
Sahil,
Charlie.
only another thing is a positive note. I just want to say that while you are talking, I noticed that you're always smiling and talking, which is I like it personally, which is very positive. That you are sharing your thought without any pressure, and that is a very proud moment for all of us. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you, and that's what we are looking forward. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Way to move forward. Yeah. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Have a good rest of your days. Thank you. Yep. Bye.
Thank you so much.